This is a first on this channel. Night, good evening, and shout out to the mighty LDBC. I am Trill LDBC and nothing, and welcome. Three things I ask when I go live. Number one, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Number two, make sure that you like the video. Liking the video pushes this video into the algorithm, so more eyes that need to see it, see it. And number three, donate to the channel. Jesse Farmer, what's up with it, man? Salute to you, man. Fancy salute to you, Queen. My sister Cam in the building. How you doing, Queen? Salute to you. Brandon in the building. What's up, Brody? Brooklyn, salute to you. My brother Carpe Diem. What's up with it, family? I am going to react to this video made by Thomas Skean. I've seen it and I was so impressed by it. I figured I'd share with my people. Yeah, I figured I'd share with you guys so you guys can see it as well. So, without further ado, here's Thomas Skean breaking down January 6th. And it's going to dispatch and disperse all the lies that's being told about it. Vino Gotti, what's up, family? So yeah, it's going to disperse. It's 25 minutes long, and it's going to disperse every talking point these goofballs have been saying on Fox News, OAN, Newsmax, CNN, MSNBC, wherever, CBS. No matter where you go, these people talk all these stupid, like that dumb video, that 2-minute video they put up about those so-called alleged suitcases. Yeah, right. But yeah, I'm gonna let y'all, without further ado, here's Thomas Skean, and I'm gonna be reacting to this video, so y'all gonna know I'm gonna be stopping it from and sharing my thoughts on it. Okay, here we go. My brother Shelton in the building. What's up with you? Bear relax, boy. But anyways, let's go.
America. It all started when the island of people with bad teeth decided to make colonies that were a 2-month sailboat right away. Half of the colonists decided to rebel against the government, and we've all agreed that they were the good guys. Their big slogan was no taxation without representation, because they were forced to pay taxes to the beans on toast people but got no say in how they were governed. There was also the Quartering Act, which forced colonists to feed and house British soldiers. I get angry if I hear a British person speak, let alone them having a legal mandate to sleep on my couch and eat my food. A bunch of colonists decided to write a constitution. It united the colonies as states with independent power. They really didn't want the federal government to need to be overthrown again, so they included the right to criticize the government.
You, taxpayer, give me your money to pay for baby killing.
Due process.
Now check out the setup. He's talking about the establishment of the Constitution, the Revolutionary War, and how the Constitution came into play to begin with. The British tooth came over here because they, Great Britain wasn't sending their best people. It wasn't. Yeah, but here we go. Continue.
And they gave states the job of voting for president every 4 years. 85 years later, some southern states decided they wanted to do another insurrection because the government had the audacity to restrict newly added states' God-given right to own black people.
I'm strong.
Yeah, you remember that lie they told you is about states' rights? It's telling you about the Civil War is based on states' rights. Yeah, it was about race. Because if it wouldn't, then how do you explain the establishment or the startup of the Ku Klux Klan then? Because the Ku Klux Klan started in 1865, after the final slaves were notified that they were free. And black codes and all that good stuff. But here we go.
Y'all. I'm
What's up, Andrew?
I can sleep in a bucket. I'm fast. I got stamina.
After 500,000 people died, we decided that slavery was bad.
Good.
What's this I hear about you whipping slaves?
So the state representatives voted to change the Constitution. Right now, all we care about is Part 3 of the 14th Amendment. It basically says nobody is allowed to hold any office in the government if they promise to follow the Constitution and then engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the Constitution.
Pay close attention to that. Section 3 of the Constitution says that nobody is allowed to hold any office in government if they promise to follow the Constitution and then engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the Constitution, which Trump did. What's up with it, Steve? Which Trump did. Which he did. This video is going to prove that.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
We had a really close election where the logistics got messy, so Congress passed the Electoral Count Act, which isn't going to matter until way later. In 2016, the American people had an election where they had to choose between an annoying first lady and an edgy reality TV star.
Now listen, I just want you to know, people are going to see this and say, okay, she's pandering to black people.
Okay. Is it working? Pokemon Go.
Donald J. Trump is calling for a total and complete shutdown of Muslims entering the United States.
Remember, he lost this election by 3 million votes, according to the popular vote. So the people chose Hillary, not this douchebag.
The least racist person in this room.
Trump repeatedly said it was going to be rigged because
The media is so dishonest and so corrupt, and the pylon is so amazing.
he made
Hey, but y'all got to remember, this is a pattern for Donald Trump. Because remember, every time Trump thinks he's going to lose, he always says something's rigged against him. Remember that. BB Otis, what's up with it, Brody? He always goes to his go-to. Everything's rigged. Notice that we didn't ever have fake news until this douchebag came. But anyways, continue.
sure everyone knew that the system was rigged against him. It seems like Trump thinks a lot of things are rigged though, because he called it a total sham when Obama was elected and made election fraud claims during the Republican primary that he won.
The Republican primary system is totally rigged and broken.
The deep state must have forgot to rig the presidential election too, because he won that. 4 years later, a white cop killed a black man after he committed a non-violent crime. Many people on the left saw this as emblematic of police brutality and racism broadly, leading to a movement of anti-racist protests. Most of the protests were peaceful, but it was a huge movement. And
you know why those protests they turned violent? Because of angry white people. The Boogaloo Boys. Go look it up. The Boogaloo Boys, they were shooting into police station, throwing Molotov cocktails, doing everything they can to disrupt all the peaceful protests that were going on. That is a fact.
many of them turned to violent riots. As the 2020 election
Hey,
neared,
locals.
Trump repeatedly criticized his opponent for not condemning left-wing extremism enough.
What's
so
up,
the
man?
moderator asked Trump if he would condemn
white supremacists and militia groups.
Trump claims to not have known of the group, but he decided to tell the Proud Boys to
Stand back and stand by.
Proud Boys immediately rejoiced on Parler.
Trump basically said to go fuck them up. This makes me so happy.
Look, notice when Trump said that shit, it emboldened them. That's Enrique Tarrico, who got arrested for seditious conspiracy and was sentenced the highest out of everybody who was sentenced due to seditious conspiracy. Don't worry, you can Google is free.
According to one member, Trump being unwilling to condemn the group made it so that their membership
tripled, probably.
And did you ever sell any stand back and stand by merchandise?
I wish I would have. I wish I would have.
Look at this giant douchebag. What is it with him and Cash Patel, two sand niggas who want to pretend like they're white boys? What is it? What is wrong with these dudes? But anyways.
Made a stand back, stand by shirt.
At the time, there was a new and very contagious virus going around. Biden was very cautious about the pandemic, holding few rallies and encouraging people to vote by mail. Trump consistently told people to not worry and held rallies where he urged his voters to vote in person and not by mail.
Remember, thousands of people died because of his ignorance. Remember, he was the same person that told people to drink bleach or inject UV rays into their skin in order for them to kill the virus. Hey, Tay-Tay. Hey, Benny Locals.
Much more so than in 2016, he insisted
the only way we're going to lose this election is if the election is rigged.
Since in-person votes skewed Republican and they were counted before mail-in ballots, on election night it appeared that Trump could win. It wasn't until 4 days after election night that it was clear that Trump had lost the election. Regardless of the millions of votes still to be counted, Trump declared,
Frankly, we did win this election.
It's important to note that Trump lies constantly. During his first campaign, he said that
we will build a great wall and Mexico will pay.
Remember, Donald Trump lies like he breathes. And the first time he was in office, he lied over 30,000 times on camera. Not to mention all the other stuff that he said in meetings and all that stuff. He lies all the time, habitually. Justin, what's up with it, family? He lies like he breathes.
For the wall.
During his first term, he said that the wall would
very quickly pay for itself indirectly by the great new trade deal we have.
Notice the USMCA is the deal that he drew up and forgot about it. Then he said the deal sucked, but he's going to talk about it in this video.
Made with Mexico.
Trump's USMCA trade agreement included nothing that would make Mexico pay for the wall, and during his second term, he thought the deal that he negotiated for was bad.
Who would ever sign a thing like this?
By the transitive property of equality, we can therefore conclude that great equals bad and Mexico equals the United States. Between Election Day and all the votes being counted, Trump started the Stop the Steal movement by falsely asserting over and over again that there was massive nationwide voter fraud despite having no real evidence and each election being run independently by state governments. 3/4 of Republicans believed the election was stolen at the time.
But y'all want to know something wild though? Statistically with data, Republicans committed the most election fraud. That's a fact. Election fraud was committed by Republicans, not Democrats. Even though these dumbasses believe whatever puke Donald Trump told them.
Because of Trump and his supporters lying. 2 days after the election was called for Biden, Trump's team filed a lawsuit in Pennsylvania, and it just didn't make sense.
Asking this court to invalidate more than 6.8 million votes.
We're asking you for a hearing. Well, it's a darn good due process claim.
You've acknowledged the only issue in the case is the equal protection claim. Why should I consider them now an oral argument when you deleted the claims? Remember what I'm bound to look at. The complaint's been amended. Do you agree?
Oh, certainly, Your Honor.
After losing the case, they appealed to a Trump-appointed judge who had donated thousands of dollars to Republican election campaigns. He said, charges of unfairness are serious, but calling an election unfair
Good evening,
does not
Renee.
make it so. Charges require specific allegations and then proof.
Y'all got to remember that Alina Habba and John Eastman filed over 60 injunctions in court and failed every single one of them, even in front of Trump-appointed judges, like this goofball right here, who looks like a villain in a cartoon movie.
We have neither here. Trump's team would lose 61 more frivolous lawsuits. An email sent by Trump's lawyer, John Eastman, essentially said the main goal of these lawsuits was not to prove there was fraud, but just in hopes that they could delay the certification of the...
Look, Donald Trump and all his stooges were only trying to delay the certification of the election. There's proof of it right here. President Trump's attorneys state that merely having this case pending in the Supreme Court, not ruled on, might be enough to delay consideration of Georgia. Right.
Election on January 6th.
He said it!
Voter fraud claims were spread based on videos shared on social media. In Georgia, workers verified ballots in front of.
Notice that young lady right here where my pointer is. That lady right there, she ended up suing Rudy Giuliani, her and her mother, because Rudy Giuliani was lying on her. But don't worry, he's going to cover it. There you go.
Monitors and sealed them in official containers. They were planning to go home for the night, so monitors left. A supervisor was then told by the county's election director to not go home that early and keep counting. There was about an hour and a half where there were no monitors in the room. Luckily, that stretch of time was on camera.
There they go, right there. Her and her mom right behind her. Both were counting votes from the election. And Rudy Giuliani, being the dirty ass old snake that he is, lied on them, caused them severe harm, and they sued him justifiably. But this is still from the 2-minute video that MAGA and Steve Bannon and all these weirdos on the internet constantly keep trying to say, oh, there was 360,000 votes that was falsely tabulated. See, for the days they rigged the election. This is a lie.
And all that was happening was people scanning ballots that monitors had already watched get verified. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, shared a less than 2-minute clip of this video footage, calling the official ballot containers suitcases and making it seem as though they weren't put there as part of normal cleanup before planning to leave for the day. These countless baseless claims and 60 trials were part of a deliberate strategy that a lead of Trump's first campaign, Steve Bannon, calls flooding the zone with shit. Running out of legal options, Trump moved on to intimidating election officials. In a call with...
See, again, what is the goal of the Trump orbit? Trump's orbit, all they care about is optics. I've been telling y'all that. All they care about is optics. All they care about is optics. All they have to do is show you or present something to you and say, hey, this is fraud right here, without giving you context. But MAGA is so stupid, they'll believe anything that you say. Petrazi, how are you? They will say anything and they will believe anything they say because of optics. But
the Republican Secretary of State for Georgia, who donated to Trump's campaign, he asked for him to find the exact number of votes that would be needed for him to win the election in that state.
I just want to find 11,780. Fellas, I need 11,000 votes. Give me a break.
So how can anybody say that Trump didn't try to rig the 2020 election instead of everybody going out talking about stop the steal? You have evidence right here. Trump's on the phone with the Attorney General of Georgia telling him, I need 11,000 votes.
People voted, close to 5,000 people.
2 dead people, not thousands, not hundreds, 2 people.
Oh, and they were Republicans too.
How do you know that? Because we went back and looked and we searched all the death records, and we'll investigate and see if we can find out who those people were that fraudulently voted for those 2 dead people.
One of the most significant allegations of fraud was centered around Dominion voting machines. A Trump campaign senior advisor testified that he told Trump that there was no evidence of any...
I wonder where that big fat bowling ball is now. I wonder where he's at. I haven't seen Jason Miller since Trump's first term as president.
Anything fraudulent about Dominion's machines.
Its name is Dominion. You can press a button for Trump and the vote goes to Biden.
Lying.
America's largest cable news network repeated these lies because not falling in line with Trump's messaging would mean losing viewers to other networks more loyal to Trump, like Newsmax. Dominion filed a defamation lawsuit against Fox, and private communications inside Fox revealed that they knew that there was no evidence for the claims being made on air.
What happened with Fox? Didn't they get sued for almost $800 million they had to pay? They settled out of court for damn near $800 million because they lied and they knew they were lying. Rupert Murdoch even told the judge that they knew they were lying. Text messages came out showing Sean Hannity and them lying. They knew they were lying. Tucker Carlson, the whole nine, didn't they? Okay.
Defamation is one of the most difficult things to prove in court, but it was so clear that Fox had been knowingly lying about Dominion that they paid out $800 million.
There you go. According to Forbes, Fox News settles Dominion defamation case for $787.5 million. There you go.
To settle the case. The second largest defamation payout ever, only beaten by Alex Jones for claiming that the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting was a hoax. Rudy Giuliani also had a defamation case brought against him by election workers in Georgia that he claimed committed election fraud. In court, he argued that it was just his opinion, and freedom of speech protected his right to spread misinformation.
See? You see how they try to use, hell, it's my First Amendment. I can lie on you if I want to. I can bring death threats to your house if I want to. It's protected under my First Amendment right. Hate speech is not free speech, ladies and gentlemen.
He paid out $150 million.
Look at this old dusty. Ugh.
We'll get back to Trump's personal lawyers breaking the law, but first, we need to talk about the Department of Justice. Trump's chosen head of the DOJ enabled the DOJ and FBI to investigate fraud in the 2020 election.
There was an avalanche of all these allegations of fraud, and it was like playing whack-a-mole. All the early claims were completely bogus and silly. I made this statement. To date, we have not seen fraud on a scale that could have affected a different outcome. And the president was as mad as I've ever seen him. I reiterated they wasted a whole month on Dominion voting machines. Tell them how crazy some of these allegations were. There was never an indication of interest in what the actual facts were.
Barr resigned, and Jeffrey Rosen, who was also appointed by Trump, took...
Now, check this out. How does Bill Barr get to scurry off in the night? How? Yeah, he got out of there quick. Bill Barr got out of there quick. He waddled his big ass out of there real fast.
Took his place.
Your first official day as the acting attorney general, what did he want to talk about?
That he thought the election had been stolen or was corrupt. Our reviews had not shown that.
We simply did not have standing. We tried to explain that to the president on numerous occasions.
See? You have people around you who have legal credentials explaining to the sitting president of the United States that you do not have the legal right to proclaim that this election is rigged or stolen. Donald Trump knew far well what the fuck he was doing. He knew what he was doing. AB, what's up, bro? He knew what he was doing. Detroit, what's up, Brody? He knew exactly what he was doing. He had no care about facts. He didn't care. He cared about optics, though. That's it.
Mr. Rosen said to Mr. Trump, quote, DOJ can't and won't snap its fingers and change the outcome of the election.
Now, look at the DOJ now. Do you think if Pam Bundy was in the same position that they were in, that she would do right? She would follow the Constitution? No. Shout out to Nada 9687. Well, 8697 in the super chat. Salute to you, Nada. It says salute Trill Will and salute to the mighty LDBC. Salute to you, King. Once again,
I'll put up the notes and quote the president. Just say the election.
Carlson, what's up, Brody?
And leave the rest to me in the Republican Congress.
You heard what he said? He said, just say that the election was corrupt and leave the rest to me and the Republican congressman. He knew he had stooges in the Republican Party.
Congressman.
That's an exact quote from the president, who was adamant that he had won and that we were not doing our job. It did escalate over time until the meeting on January 3rd.
Did he mention Jeff Clark's name?
Yes. It was just in passing. How does the president even know Mr. Clark?
What happened on January 3rd? I thought this video was about January 6th. And who's Jeffrey Clark?
So Mr. Clark was the acting head of the Civil Division and head of Environmental and Natural Resources Division at the Department of Justice. Do either of those divisions have any role whatsoever in investigating election fraud, sir?
No.
Clark asked Rosen and Donahue for a promotion and for permission to send a letter to Georgia claiming that the DOJ had found significant irregularities in the election. He also signed the draft letter as if he had already been promoted to make him seem more important than he was. Despite him being completely unqualified and it being against DOJ policy for the president to be talking to random people in the agency, the president was planning to appoint him to be the head of the DOJ solely because he was the only person in the agency willing to send out letters lying to states about evidence of voter fraud.
The same thing Pam Bundy would do right now. Same thing. Same thing. Donald Trump was wanting to look for somebody who was willing and spineless enough to send letters out lying on his behalf, just because he's a fucking liar.
Even though he had not been a participant in the department's review of that, he told me that he would be replacing me. Thought it would be appropriate to at least offer me that I could stay on as his deputy. Told him that was nonsensical.
Donahue set up a conference call with leadership in the department.
All, without hesitation, said that they would resign.
DOJ leadership arrived at the White House.
The president turned to me, you aren't going to do anything. You don't even agree with claims of election fraud. This other guy at least might do something. You're right. I'm not going to allow the Justice Department to try to overturn the election because that's what's consistent with the facts and the law. Everyone in the room was supportive.
The president said, what do I have to lose? Mr. President, you have a great deal to lose. You talk.
Y'all notice that he had people around him that actually understood constitutional law. And they weren't willing to put their freedoms on the line for Trump. You don't have that anymore. This is for the ones who are saying, oh, we survived 4 years under Trump last time. It's not going to be so bad, Will. It's not going to be so... What's so bad about it, Will? What's so bad about it? What's so bad about it, Will? Now you see.
Talking about putting a man in that seat who has never tried a criminal case, who's never conducted a criminal investigation. He's going to take charge of the department, 115,000 employees, including the entire FBI. He has never been in front of a trial jury, a grand jury. He's never even been to Chris Wray's office. Suppose I replace him, Jeff Rosen, with him, Jeff Clark. What would you do? And I said, Mr. President, I would resign immediately. Steve, you wouldn't resign, would you? And he said, absolutely, I would, Mr. President. You leave me no choice.
See, Trump was trying to put unqualified douchebags who were loyalists in positions of power in his first term. Trump does the same thing over and over again, if y'all noticing the trend now.
Within 72 hours, you could have hundreds and hundreds of resignations of the leadership of your entire Justice Department because of your actions. What's that going to say about you? Jeff Clark tried to scrape his way back, asked the president to reconsider. The president doubled down, said, no, I've made my decision. That's it. We're not going to do it.
Since his presidential legal counsel agreed there was no more legal means to challenge the election, Trump moved on to just trying to break the law. John Eastman wrote a memo to Trump with several plans that he could use to steal the election by having...
Why ain't John Eastman in jail for treason?
Having Mike Pence break the Electoral Count Act, which I mentioned 133 years ago. The justification for breaking the law was that it was unconstitutional. I'm not going to get bogged down in interpreting constitutional law because I can have John Eastman do that for me. He said that the Supreme Court, the people in charge of interpreting the Constitution, would unanimously rule against his idea that the ECA was unconstitutional.
His view was that the court simply wouldn't get involved. He started, well, maybe you'd only lose 7-2, but ultimately acknowledged we would lose 9-0. No judge would support his argument.
Every election, each state has a set of electors sign a document saying who they all cast their votes for and mail it to Congress.
Now check this part out. Check this part out.
This is a thing that states do. The federal government is not supposed to be involved at all. Trump's team had any willing citizens in 7...
Now look, this is what Donald Trump's stooges off on the left were doing versus the real certification letters that's on the right. Has the state seal, the whole nine. These don't. You can obviously tell these are fake. Look at them. They're fake.
Swing states signed a document falsely claiming they were chosen as electors for their state. It's obvious they were fraudulent if you just look at them. Each state had different formatting for their documents, whereas all the forms that Trump had sent to Congress looked nearly identical. Trump's lawyer Chesborough pled guilty.
Hey, Chesborough got disbarred too, just so y'all know.
To conspiracy to commit filing false documents. So then Trump tweeted, statistically impossible to have lost the 2020 election. Big protest in DC on January 6th.
See, Trump, it not only set up, was responsible for, coordinated the entire insurrection January 6th of 2021. PGH Big Dog, salute, man.
be there will be wild. By Trump's estimation, hundreds of thousands of people came on January 6th to attend his rally protesting the certification of the vote.
Hundreds of thousands of people here, and I just want them to be recognized
Lying again.
by the fake news media. These people are not going to take it any longer. Turn your cameras, please.
Trump gave an hour-long speech telling his supporters that they needed to show strength.
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
To never concede.
We will never give up. We will never concede. It doesn't happen. You don't concede when there's death.
And fight like hell.
And if you don't fight like hell, you're not going to have a country anymore.
He did tell the crowd to be peaceful, but everything that followed made it clear that he either intended for them to use violence or just didn't care.
You heard those chants. That was terrible. I mean, it was, he could have, well, the people were very angry. Hang my because it's common sense. How can you, if you know a vote is fraudulent, how can you pass on a fraudulent vote?
There are videos.
See? He didn't care about the safety of his own vice president. So why does MAGA believe that Donald Trump will protect them?
Videos much longer than this one, going over all the details of events that took place on that day.
Every damn one of us needs to be up there pushing the damn front doors in and dragging their asses out here.
There are multiple Capitol entrances, different places that were barricaded away from the building, and communication problems happen when multiple different police bodies need to collaborate to defend against a group that vastly outnumbers them.
I need a command official from Capitol so we can coordinate where they want us to pull back to. We cannot hold this without more munitions or more manpower.
In essence, though, it's pretty simple. Thousands of the most radical Trump supporters from a group of tens of thousands were riled up by Trump to go prevent what he told them was their country being stolen forever.
Which was a lie. That's a lie. These people moved on Trump's lie. Ashley Babbitt is dead because of Trump's lie.
If you're scared of confrontation, do not move forward. Patriots, move forward. This is our chance to show them how serious we are.
Among those supporters were far-right militia groups, like the Oath Keepers.
We're already in war. It needs to be a wartime.
The Oath Keepers, the 3%ers, the Proud Boys, all of them were there.
Right now, right here.
And the Proud Boys, who saw this as their green light to stop standing back and standing by.
That's the Proud Boys in a nutshell. We will kill you.
And in 4th degree, you get arrested or in a serious...
They legitimately stole the name from a gay group of dudes and called themselves Proud Boys. Let that sink in. And they're the same groups that crash Grindr every time there's a Republican meeting somewhere.
Violent fight for the cause.
Really?
Yes.
You get arrested in a serious violent fight, so you're promoting
Or it's
violence?
some sort of major altercation.
You should erase that part.
Shout out Dominic Pizzola, the Proud Boy who stole a riot shield from a cop and used it to smash open this window and let people in. About a half hour later, one of Trump's supporters was warned that if she climbed through a broken window in the Capitol to enter a room that lawmakers were evacuating from, she would be shot. She then committed suicide by cop. It was
factuals.
Not until 4:20 p.m. That is over 2 hours after the Capitol was broken into, and an hour and a half after a woman was fatally shot, before Trump told them to leave. Let me give you Trump's point of view here. You completely innocently told your supporters to go protest to the Capitol building because even though all the legal experts you appointed told you there wasn't evidence the election was stolen, you already decided it was going to be beforehand. And you could find some people who told you what you wanted to hear.
Let's have trial by combat.
You told the protesters you would be down there with them, but you were a couple miles away in a White House dining room sipping on refreshing ice-cold Diet Coke.
And y'all have to remember, the total time that Donald Trump sat on his ass was over 3 hours, while his monkeys shit, pissed, and defecated all over the White House, stole property from the White House, flew a Confederate flag in the middle of the rotunda, just These people are treasonous bastards, and they should have been treated that way.
Assuming a casual sipping rate of 1 Coke per 10 minutes, it's been 3 Cokes since the building was broken into, and cops are continuously being injured. Then one of your supporters is shot. Multiple people keep coming into the room and pestering you, including your hot daughter.
She does have a very nice figure. I've said that if Ivanka weren't my daughter, perhaps I'd be dating her.
They're making absurd requests like, Dad, could you maybe tell the rioters to leave?
See, you even had your own kids telling you to tell the rioters to leave. You had your chief of staff telling you to tell them to leave. You had McCarthy telling you to tell your monkeys to leave, but you did nothing. But the election was stolen, right?
You drink 3 more Cokes, and like the hero you are, you put out a tweet telling people to remain peaceful. They continue to be violent, and you drink 6 more Cokes.
They were peaceful people. These were great people. The crowd was unbelievable. And I mentioned the word love. The love in the air. I've never seen anything like it.
You see how they like to spread that BS optics of this was a day of love? Only Trump supporters and Trump call it a day of love. It was a day of violence. It was a day of anarchy. It was a day of treason. That's what it was.
Your chair is so comfortable, but people are getting really whiny, so you agree to tell the rioters to leave. No rush, though. Plus, the speech they want you to read is really giving the rioters a hard time for being violent, so you'll need to have that revised.
Good chase? Yep. When you're ready, sir.
You tell me when?
When you're ready, sir.
Who's behind me?
Okay. He's gone around. We're all clear now.
I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had a election. Let me say. I know your pain. I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen.
The goal of sending the rioters was probably not to kill any Congress members. It was to intimidate and delay, as Trump made clear in his speech.
Mike Pence is going to have to come through for us.
But what was the crowd meant to intimidate Pence to do? A bloodless coup. It's all laid out in John Eastman's memo. The hope was that the fraudulent electors sent from the swing states by Trump would be accepted by Congress.
See? That was the overall plan. They were going to have Mike Pence be the stooge, violate the Constitution, while his fake electors, they try to get those fake electors, their fraudulent piles of toilet paper to get it signed as if it's legitimate, and it wasn't. If the state legislators have certified the Trump electors, he counts those as required by Article 2, the provision of the Electoral Count Act, giving the default victory to the executive certified slate, therefore being unconstitutional. Any combination of states totaling 38 electors, Trump wins.
So when Pence opened the ballots, he could just choose to count the fake ones, making Trump the winner. If Congress didn't accept the obviously fake ballots, then Pence was supposed to play dumb. Since there were 2 sets of electors sent in and allegations of voter fraud, he was supposed to throw out all the swing state ballots. With none of the swing states in play, Trump would have more electoral votes than Biden, making him the winner. Or, since neither candidate had the typical 270 votes required to win, Pence could send it to the Republican-controlled House of Representatives for a vote. The last idea was for Pence to determine that because election challenges were being made, he could just indefinitely postpone the election in hopes that evidence of voter fraud could be found eventually.
And no evidence of voter fraud was ever found. But still, you have Trump supporters who believe the 2020 election was stolen. You have people sitting in positions of power right now that are such ass kissers that they believe that as well.
Luckily, Pence is an actual conservative and not a traitor.
The Constitution affords no authority for the Vice President or anyone else to reject votes or return votes to the states.
Great public servant came in and said, "Sir, we got to get you out of the building now." He said, "You're not hearing me. I'm not leaving." He said, "I'm not giving those people the sight of a 16-car motorcade speeding away from the Capitol."
Do you believe that Donald Trump should ever be president again?
But I think that's up to the American people. But I think we'll have better choices.
That still doesn't take away from the fact that Mike Pence is a sniveling coward, though. At least he wasn't a sniveling coward when it counted, though. That's all I can say about him.
The future.
You have said you would not have certified the last presidential.
Look at this couch humping this troglodyte right here with all the mascara in his wife's makeup bag on his face. Look at him. He would have done it.
Election. Would you again seek to challenge this year's election results, even if every governor certifies the results?
We're focused on the future. Inflation, Kamala Harris, make housing affordable, make groceries affordable. But I want to answer your question.
Have they done any of that? Y'all remember, this douchebag didn't answer the question.
Problems in 2020. We should fight about those peacefully. Joe Biden became the president. Donald Trump left the White House. A Harris-Biden administration. Threat to democracy. Threat of censorship. Big technology companies.
Everything he just said, they're doing. They doing it right now. Right now.
Kamala Harris, she'd like to censor people who engage in misinformation. Threat to democracy, Bobby Kennedy Jr. and Tulsi Gabbard. American First Amendment, Kamala Harris censorship, COVID, or threat to democracy. Donald Trump said protesters should peacefully protest on January the 6th.
You might think that in court, Trump would say, no, I didn't lie about voter fraud. I didn't pressure election officials to find votes. I didn't have 84 people sign fraudulent legal documents. I didn't pressure my vice president to break the ECA. I didn't watch for 2 hours as rioters assaulted cops and disrupted the peaceful transfer of power. And he certainly didn't argue the Electoral Count Act was unconstitutional. He instead brought his case up to the Supreme Court and argued that he needed a get-out-of-jail-free card. So these 9 people needed to decide if Trump should have some degree of criminal immunity. These 3 were appointed by Trump, and this one had to stop the steel flag hanging in his yard. But he said that his wife put it there, so absolutely no bias. The court ruled 6-3 in favor of criminal immunity for official acts taken as president.
They all 6 should be charged with giving aid and comfort to an insurrectionist and a traitor. They all should be, man, I couldn't be president, bro. They're all going to jail.
And kick the issue to lower courts to figure out what counts as an official presidential act. Before the lower courts could finish their cases, though, Trump was re-elected president, and DOJ policy is to not prosecute sitting presidents.
Wait a minute,
said the astute viewer. What about that thing you mentioned at 1 minute and 20 seconds? How could Trump win re-election if the Constitution says that you can't hold any office if you rebelled against the Constitution? You just explained his obvious coup attempt. And he literally wrote on Truth Social that he wanted to suspend the Constitution. That is a great fucking question. On his first day back in office, Trump pardoned 1,500 people who were at the Capitol riots, 10 of which were found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of their peers of planning to overthrow the government, and some of which have already...
Seditious conspiracy. Hold on, let me rewind that back. A little bit. I want y'all to see those names right there. Those names. They were all convicted of seditious conspiracy by a jury of their peers.
Beyond a reasonable doubt by a jury of their peers of planning to overthrow the government, and some of which have already committed more violent crimes.
Facts.
So that seems bad. The obvious question is, how can you, as an American citizen, or even a member of another nation, do your part to save this country? All everybody has to do is remember to subscribe, hit the bell icon, like the video, leave a comment, check out my other videos.
Shout out to him, man. Shout out to him. Shout out to Thomas Skean. That was an amazing breakdown of January 6th, if I ever seen it myself. That was an amazing breakdown. So, to recap, Donald Trump knowingly lied to the public about election interference. Donald Trump hired fake electors to try to steal votes and try to cancel out the votes in the swing states that he lost. So this brings me to my next question. Do y'all still believe Donald Trump won the 2024 election fairly? Or did he cheat? Y'all still think I'm crazy? Y'all still think that I believe Donald Trump tapped Elon Musk because he knows Elon Musk has all the capacities to rig an election using Skylink? Is it a coincidence that Donald Trump and Skylink and Elon Musk was in all the swing states? And Elon Musk knew the results of the election 4 hours before they were even broadcasted anywhere? How did Elon Musk know? Why did Elon Musk tweet and say, without me, you would have lost the election? When him and Donald Trump was spazzing like two goofball sissies. Trill Hill, what's up with it, bro? This ain't gonna last 3 more years, bro. That's the only good thing about it. I keep showing these things like this, and I'm gonna start doing more things like this because I want more people, especially those window lickers, to see their treasonous hero for what he really is. Nothing more but a charlatan, pretending like he cares, pretending like he cares about you, pretending like he cares about us, pretending like he cares about the American people when he does not. He has never cared about us. He has never cared about the American people. He's never cared about the Constitution. He's only in the White House to keep his ass out of prison. Period, point blank, in the end of story. Everybody, all the Republican congressmen, all the Republican senators, including Mitch McConnell, all of the Supreme Court justices that all assisted Trump in committing treason against the United States Constitution all need to be brought up on charges and tried as treasonous. Hi, Tia. I think Thomas made a valid case for that. Anyways, that's my time. If you enjoyed the video, smash the like button. All that good stuff. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Shout out to everybody in the super chat, everybody who smashed the like button, and all that fun stuff. Y'all enjoy y'all evening. Trill Will out.